To the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for supporting this great podcast. Winnie Odinga, Raila Odinga's daughter, challenge on Oburu Odinga's leadership, stewardship of the party, has sparked a key debate on what Mama Ada is up to. And in this podcast, we look for the first time why Ida Odinga skipped the much hyped 200 million Mombasa memorial of Raila Odinga. But a key pointer here is, do you think Winnie is getting it wrong when she's demanding for an NDC at a time that the information, the party leadership of Oburu Odinga was reached after consensus? What's your take on this? Watch this podcast to the end, and I can, as I always tell you, there is always something new that we'll get from our podcast. And I want to make a special shout out to our subscribers from the US. This week was your week. Thank you for increased subscription, but I've just realized that there are quite a number of clicks that come in the first 2 hours of when we publish a video that do not translate to subscription. That's almost 20%. So if you've been watching a podcast and you've not subscribed, kindly subscribe so that you will not miss our videos. Now, speaking during the youth convention, Winnie Odinga, in a very calculated move, asked the ODM leadership to convene an urgent NDC so that they can ratify or that they can pick the ODM leadership that can be entrusted with that broad-based agenda that Raila Odinga was advancing. And in a very clear statement, she was doubting the scavengers pushing the agenda at the moment. This was followed by a statement from Babu Owino, who has also said, has also requested, has also asked for that. You will understand that the statement by Winnie sparked a lot of reaction. And since she also doubted it, Khaleb Amisi is saying, Oburu Odinga is the ODM party leader unconstitutionally. The constitution of the party is very clear that you need a national delegates conference to elect a new party leader. So there is a big contestation on who is legitimately supposed to be the ODM party leader. And I have been talking with a clique of political observers and insiders within the ODM ranks. And it is very questionable the absence of Mama Ida from all the events that happened in Mombasa. And someone is even saying that she was also in Mombasa. You know, they have a residency in the coast. She was also in Mombasa, but kept off the ODM activities. And reports emerge that Mama Ida, who, you know, she has been a strong engine in the party, even received official invitation to attend the ODM Founders Gala that President Ruto was holding, but she cancelled her attendance, never communicated, but also with an explanation being given that she had logistical challenges. You don't want to tell me that Mama Ida could miss a flight or lack a chopper or a way to attend that event. And you'll understand that since Raila Odinga's death, it is only Winnie and Raila Jr. that have appeared. Their voices are the ones that has emerged. And the statement from Winnie questioning the father, Oburu Odinga, is seen by political observers as sending a message from Raila family, testing the waters, and directly telling Oburu what Mama Ida thinks. So Winnie opened defiance over Oburu's stewardship of the party, speak to an internal discontent within Raila Odinga's inner family. Let me jog your mind a bit. Do you remember when Odinga, the late Raila, was vying to go to AU? He handed over the party to Kisumu Governor Anyang' Nyong'o. Anyang' Nyong'o was the interim party leader. And if Raila was to make the decision on who was to take over the party, would he have picked his brother or he would have picked someone else? You need to remember that by the time he was picking Anyang' Nyong'o, ODM had the 3 deputy party leaders, and none of the deputy party leaders was picked, and he also didn't pick Oburu Odinga, who was his brother. So if Raila was to head to win the AU seat, then Anyang' Nyong'o could have remained as the party leader. Now, I was using that example to show you the ideological difference on this position of the party leader. You need to understand that Mama Ida was a key ODM operative. ODM aspirants are actually confessing that sometimes when you get into problems with the party and you could not reach out to Raila Odinga, you'll get to Mama Ida, and through Mama Ida, you could even get breakthrough. Even though that kind of influence, some aspirants also say was also prone to some abuse, because kama unaenda kupea baba chai, unapelekea baba nakwambia kama pia umeza kuona mama. Now, keenly listening to Caleb Hamisi today when he was holding some interview in Citizen, there is a young ODM battalion which is aligning with Odinga family, and it goes beyond any doubt that the leadership of the party that was handed over to Oburu is contested within the party structures.
You wonder if the same leader would have spoken the same way if Baba was alive. That with the leader say that twende na vipande zetu, kila mtu na kipande yake, for example, will those words have come out if Baba was alive? And you, as a member who has struggled with this party from a very, predominantly not so an ODM zone, and managed to vie and campaign for Baba throughout my 2 term as a member of parliament. I'm disheartened. My members are also wondering what is this the ODM we know? What is happening? Who is the leader? And I agree with the Winnie. Yes, we need a national delegates conference as soon as possible. The constitution that Eddie was reading, he just left out something. I don't know if it was deliberate or it was. I quickly tried to look at. Yes, but Eddie left out a very important section of that constitution, which is 622B, that in the event that the party leader is unable to discharge of his or her duties by reason of physical or mental infirmity, death, resignation, or where or she ceases to be a party member or a member of parliament, a special session of the National Delegates Conference shall be convened to elect a party leader.
A special session of?
National Delegates Conference shall be convened to elect a new party leader.
NDC, not NGC.
Not NGC. It is very clear.
Yeah.
And it is the same constitution that he has been reading. So, you see, if we have to lead this country, then we need to start by leading the party properly.
Does that mean then that Dr. Oburu Oginga is party leader unconstitutionally?
Definitely it is, because this is the constitution of the party.
And and I want to show you, that was Caliber Missy. But I want to show you that what the conversation that Winnie triggered brought a political storm. And even people who had been staunched, broad-based supporters seem to have changed tone. Winnie Odinga is stressing that any political arrangement must respect ODM's identity, ideology, and long-standing struggle, adding that the party will not be coerced into deals that undermine its institutional strength.
For me, all this jostling, etc., doesn't worry me. At some point, we have to make a decision as a party in terms of coalition building. Who will we will go forward with, yeah? And I can say many good things about the both sides, and I can raise challenges with both sides. Let me not say, but I can say a lot of things, both sides. So as ODM, we will make that decision. But whichever way we go through, we will understand that there are people who have walked this journey with us. If, for instance, we decide to move forward with the president, there are people who have walked this journey with us who may not want us to go that way. And it's a reality that we may lose some of them. But we may also convince some of them why maybe the other side may not be the better option. Because as many of us have said, we form governments, or rather we form parties to get into government. But it is not getting into government at all costs, no. I think the language I've had some of us speak, it's like we must get in at all costs. No, we will not get in at all costs. But we will work hard, we will negotiate, we will put forward our agenda so that we may get into a government or the next government, or form the next government. Either with our candidate, as a presidential candidate with ODM, if we get a candidate that is sellable, or supporting another. And in supporting that other person, we then will ask, what is in it for us? And I had somebody, the senator for Nandi,
saying some seats are locked out.
Yeah, as seats are locked out. I don't want to talk too much about it because, especially coming from him. But I can tell you for a fact, the moment you say that, our antenna goes up. Because even as much as we want to support another government, we are not supporting a government so that we can be village elders, as you were saying. Because I don't need the support of any government to be a village elder. That I can do without any help. I'm not seeking to support any government so that I can be, have a CS. We are already there. I mean, we already have two. We probably would have wanted, because ODM is wide. We have from coast to western. We have kisses. Would want to have a more inclusive face for us as ODM, or people who support us, even in government. So yes, we will look at all those issues. But as out of now, and somebody said, when are we selling the ODM? We are not selling ODM, not anytime soon, but we will work. And I want to tell some of our supporters, it could go left, it could go right, in terms of what you desire. And if it doesn't go really the way you want, it's not because we disregard you. It's just the nature of politics.
It may just be how it is.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah. The reality.
And what Winnie Odinga is saying here, of course, she's reacting to Cherarge's remarks just the other day, is what some of the party stalwarts that have been saying, that ODM should not lose its values in the altar of, under the guise of supporting William Ruto. Remember, I want you to get the context why the NDC call is not far-fetched. It is not a secret that the decision to pick Oburu as the party leader was rushed. And it was rushed by political survivors, parasitic politicians who are struggling to get another Raila. And probably they thought that in Oburu Odinga, you'll get another Raila Odinga when atakubeba mkono and just how you can survive. But I do agree that if things was to be done the right way, then an NDC would have been the best constitutional platform, or rather constitutional grouping, constitutional grouping to pick the ODM leadership. And let's get it. ODM party had been conducting grassroots elections. At the end of those grassroots elections, they were supposed to convene in Mombasa for an NDC. The NDC was supposed to be held in October. If my memory serves me right, it was supposed to be 9th or 10th of October. Then at that time, there was a hot discussion on Ruto, two-term, broad-based. And when in July, when Sifuna appeared in Citizen, and in that stormy interview called out the broad-based proponents, they hatched a plan to kick out Sifuna from the party. And when Raila Odinga realized that the NDC that was to be called was going to be hijacked to kick out Sifuna and also endorse William Ruto, they quickly made a U-turn and now changed it to be a 20 years memorial. And now the public needs, if you've been following politics, you need to understand this, because some people think that this 20 years celebration was just organized after Raila's death. This was something that was under the plans. So, in Mombasa, I understand that even some insiders were asking, people were taking oath as legitimate leadership, officiating their leadership positions. And at this point, you may not agree with, I may not agree with Winnie on the fact that she confronted Oburu Odinga in public. I think to that end, we don't agree with her. I don't personally agree with her because that is also, that's a family. So she needed to do it differently, not to be seen as laying all that disagreement float in public. But she's also right to demand that NDC is the only legitimate avenue to legalizing the leaders. You can't go to celebrate Raila's memory in some sort of a party and organize a rally, and in that rally, you want to say that's an NDC. NDC is even gazetted. But they hijack that to urgently plant leadership. May I even tell you, there was no urgency of officiating the officials. There was no urgency on that. And I concur with this political observation that Ruto did not want ODM to be a bystander party. He wanted ODM to take a stand.
The Orange Democratic Movement should reject in every possible term. And if it needs to break up, if we need to send the people out of the party so that the spirit of that party can live, so be it. What the president is trying to do is to build a super party. This is part of his authoritarian nature. He wants a party that will be a huge super bus that is going to include everyone. And therefore, once you have a kind of party like that, you can rule ad infinitum. You could just continue ruling this country the way you want. There is a way of killing multi-party politics without tampering with the Constitution. What you do is you just destroy the foundations of political parties. Now, by killing, by trying to get this ODM into his UDA political party, this is a way of getting rid of one of the major political parties. It's a way of trying to bring back his re-election. It's a way of trying to make sure that not only does he have the parliamentary votes in the next dispensation to change then the constitution to a way that favors him. Mr. Ruto wants to rule for the next 30 years. See, this is very important for everybody to understand. Of course, this will not happen because we have the Gen Zs.
Now, listen to Veronica Maina speak. You could easily understand that maybe the state is amplifying the leaders who are, of course, talking about cracks, or those who are saying they're willing to crack the party if things don't work their way.
ODM is feeling the crisis is because, number one, we know Raila Amolo was very vibrant. Now, the personality of Raila is very different from the personality of Senator Oburu. Yeah. He was able to lead. You know, ODM has grown through even demos, protests. They have always protested anything they felt was not what they wanted, or they felt they perceived was on what they had their people saying. So I think they are looking at the leadership style between their party leader, the departed party leader, and the one who has come in. Right. And then Winnie is in a unique position because he's a niece to the party leader now. That is why you had, when she raised a very key question, the first response she received from our colleague Senator Oburu was that tutaongea hii mambo nyumbani. But unfortunately, this is not mambo inaweza kuishia nyumbani. Haiwezi kuishia nyumbani. This is a very key question that was asked, and the reason why it's being asked because we have the lineup of the leadership of that party. Right. So you have led by Governor Gladys Wanga there. We have the likes of Professor Anyang' Nyong'o, very strong leaders, Governor Orengo, and we have a few others, Senator Osotsi. We have the ADs who are all in the NDC, very strong leadership at the helm. And then we have the CSs who are also from the ODM. Now, the CSs are in government. And naturally, you saw what CS Joho said. Hamtatutoa kafara. You know, like you are not going to we are not going to be sacrificial lambs. And mukitukujia, tuna wakujia. So what I would say is, before ODM proceeds to the NDC, if I was near there advising them, but they need to maybe pay me consultancy to advise them. Yes. If there's, especially if they want to, at some point, drive the government at top leadership, I would say it's time for them to sit back, calm the storm before proceeding to the NDC. Because if they proceed to NDC with what I saw yesterday, and I'm speaking from a bird's eye view, ODM may as well turn into 3-4 factions. And I'm not prophesying doom, because my view as a former emeritus SG of the UDA is that we must help political parties like ODM to be strong enough. We must have structures that help political party like ODM to be strong enough.
This is Veronica Maina. Now, at this point, I want to explain something here in details. Oburu Odinga is the party leader of the ODM party. But there are two camps. There are young people within the party that are coalescing around Mama Ida, that believe that whatever happened is not right. And if it is subjected to some democracy, some democratic activity, probably democratic process, the outcome will be otherwise. And it is not just a mere coincidence I know some people want to say Mama Ida has been receiving visitors in Bondo. I was in Bondo on Thursday. Not on Thursday. I think it was on Thursday, yes. I was in Bondo on Thursday, and I also went to Poda Farm. I did not find Mama Ida. And when we asked some of the handlers there, they were saying that alikuwa ametoka more than 4 days ago. And she was in Riyadh for some time, then came back to Nairobi because she also needed that rest. She was receiving so many guests and it was overwhelming on her, so she had to come. Now, she's also one of the founders of the party, and she has been a key backroom operator of the party. At one point, when ODM party was facing some exit, Mama Ida was the patron of a lobby group known as ODM Reloaded. That was after Ababu Namwamba had left the party after the 2014 botched election of officials. So it is clearly that Odinga family and Raila family are demanding that NDC because it is a sign of dissatisfaction with Oburu Odinga. So why do you think Mama Ida kept off all this abracadabra of ODM party's memorial? I think I may be wrong on this, but maybe one day I'll be vindicated. I tend to think that Mama Ida did not welcome the rushed consensus of putting Oburu Odinga at the head of the party, in charge of the party. And it could be because, let me tell you, you heard Winnie Odinga saying that broad-based thing is very complicated and she's wondering whether the people there will manage that relationship. I think it is only Mama Ida and probably Raila's family that understand what was Raila Odinga's game plan. And to her opinion, she could be in a thought that amongst Raila's children, one of them could have been the party leader. Your opinion is welcome as to what you think on that. Ruto axis is against the planned NDC that will then inject the young people there. That NDC has the potential of bringing in the young people in the party, and that blood is one that will scare the president. And I think the reports of people bickering about the party, brokers, and the statement of some people are already in boardrooms trying to find out how ODM could favor their interest does not augur well with Mama Ida. And that is why I strongly feel that something has to be done. It will not be tenable for Oburu to steady the ship with all this discontent coming from some of the party members. I concur with those who are saying that ODM is already in some troubles. And if an NDC is called now, there is a possibility of it being chaotic. And also, the president really is interested in that party. And in case of an NDC, even if there is some ballots, they might even be destroyed, or rather, the state might infiltrate it and plant their own moles in the ODM party to advance their ideology. At this point, I go back to what I always said. The stewardship of the party cannot be entrusted on people who harbor close ties with William Ruto as their only priority, because it is in my view that those ones will not advance the identity and values and legacy of Baba Raila Odinga. Thank you.